Okay, we are almost out of time, Nick. So I want to ask you two more brief
Sure.
questions. One of them, real brief. Give me the answer,
Okay.
if you can. Uh, you mentioned earlier about having some kind of a moon base. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are trying to go to Mars, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Why the moon, not Mars? And what's up? What's going on with your moon base? What are you going to be doing up there?
Good question. Good question.
Real
Okay,
quick.
so yeah, real quick. I think the moon, honestly, it's just more of like sheer proximity and logistics at this point. In a
Mhm.
hundred years from now, the Mars and outer kind of things will be available. And honestly, one of my favorite short films is called Wanderers by Eric Nyquist. It all talks about going and basically wandering the solar system and how you could go on a moon of Uranus and then jump off and you could literally just float for 3 hours down because the gravity is so different. So like I'm all about that. You know what I mean? But it's practicality. So we haven't gone outside of near Earth orbit (NEO) since 1976, and so that basically that means a lot of different things. We've sent a lot of moon things to the moon, and those were astronauts that were basically hitting cosmic waves, different things about that nature. So we don't have a lot of body of research yet to what it does to the human body in space. And so going to the moon is 3 days away, and that's it. Going to Mars, you're on a 2-year round trip ticket, homie. Just so you know, I mean, I literally did an analog Mars simulation as a crew journalist, and so like in southern Utah to mimic some of this stuff. And so I was in the middle of a habitat for 2 weeks. Had to do the depressurization, do with the whole speed of light, stuff like that. And it's like I'm telling you, you think you want to go to Mars. But going to Mars is not going to be fun. 9 months in a fucking tin can where you're in a spacesuit, you know what I mean, mostly, or in a spaceship, and it gets small really quick. Good luck with all the people that you're in there with, talking with, close quarters. You can't go outside for literally 2 years. So there's no going outside for 2 years. The best you're going to get is inside of a habitat or inside of your personal spaceship habitat. And that's the same on Earth, on the moon, but like on Mars, you're going to have to deal with a lot of different things that we are just not there yet. And I read this book by Casey Handmere, who's a PhD, like NASA, quant geek person. And he basically is like, talking about we still haven't done the biggest human feat in space history yet, and that's taking off from a different planet. So we've never taken off from Mars before. What is that gravity like? What is the thing? And if you mess that up, you're fucked. And so we've done some of the hard part is to get to Mars. We've landed rovers. We've done all these things. But the infrastructure and what Elon Musk is saying, I think he's just a really good marketer. I think he's using his capital and his VC and his influence to really like garner up this. Is there a way there to Mars? Sure. Do we need to study it? Sure. But I think the real thing that could be, more feasible is more of a moon base. It's 3 days away. So you know what I mean? Like even in terms of safety, logistics, and I guess the biggest thing also is that you can see Earth. That's my biggest thing. Like if you go to Mars, that's fine. But I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures from Curiosity, but the Earth is just this little like speck. And it's like, man, I don't know what psychology does at that point, to a human, like of knowing you're that far away from like sustenance or life. And so the moon is a lot of different ways logistically more feasible. And so I guess the second part of your question, what the fuck is a moon base? Well, I just started thinking about all these different things of like profitability and like doing things for the commons and like all these other things. And I just thought, well, what would be the most stretch goal for the commons? You know what I mean? Like, what would be the most crazy kind of stretch goal? And it really gets down to like what they're doing with the Long Now Foundation or like what the Seed Bank in Iceland's doing. It's like trying to preserve the best of humanity, whatever, just for our own self, not just for selfish regions of like blowing up, but then also to marvel at our ingenuity and curiosity. Is that would be a way to like basically make the profitability. So doing something like mining ice, you know what I mean, to actually make money and making rocket fuel, et cetera, or through tourism, to have, people stay there like a camp or, some type of whatever. But the biggest thing is like you would almost think about it as like the quintessential like highest research station. I don't know if you for my analog simulation, the next step that I've always wanted to do is like this the NASA ones, which is the high seas, which is like a 9-month thing in the middle of a volcano in Hawaii, or you go under or underwater off the coast of Florida, which is another thing to live in these different environments. But the biggest thing is for me is what we do is like Antarctica. Antarctica is the model. You know what I mean? The harshest of harshest conditions, but doing the most frontier of frontier shit. And then like how you get there, some people get there, and then I don't know exactly, but that's basically the stretch goal.